In a dramatic escalation of rhetoric, former United States President Donald Trump has significantly shortened his ultimatum to Russia regarding the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, originally granting Moscow a period of 50 days to resolve the situation. Trump, speaking from Turnberry, Scotland, on July 28th, declared that Russia now has only approximately 10 to 12 days remaining. This sharp reduction comes just 2 weeks after the initial deadline was set on July 14th. Addressing reporters during a meeting with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, President Trump expressed profound disappointment with Russian President Vladimir Putin. He stated, "I am very disappointed with President Putin, very disappointed. Therefore, we must reassess, and I will shorten the 50-day deadline I previously gave him." This swift revision underscores a perceived lack of progress in diplomatic efforts and a growing impatience from the former American leader. Trump emphasized that there is no longer any reason to wait, citing an absence of tangible advancement in the Russia-Ukraine peace negotiations over the past 2 weeks. The Kremlin has remained silent on President Trump's recent pronouncements, offering no immediate commentary on the revised deadline. Previously. On July 14th, President Trump had issued a 50-day ultimatum to Russia, stipulating that failure to accept a resolution to the conflict with Ukraine would result in severe tariffs and sanctions. At the time, he characterized the 50-day period as not too long, deeming it sufficient for addressing the conflict. Notably, even with the initial 50-day time frame, approximately 36 days were still remaining when the new, truncated deadline was announced. Diplomatic efforts have seemingly stalled. Just last week, Russia and Ukraine conducted their third round of negotiations in Turkey. However, these talks concluded without any agreement on crucial ceasefire terms or the potential for a direct meeting between the leaders of the two nations. Rustem Umerov, the head of Ukraine's negotiating delegation, underscored their primary objective. The number one priority is to organize a meeting between the leaders, between the presidents of the two countries. Conversely, Vladimir Medinsky, who leads the Russian delegation, maintained that the purpose of a summit meeting should be to sign an agreement, rather than to discuss everything from scratch. Multi-dimensional analysis and speculative interpretations. President Trump's abrupt shift in the ultimatum's timeline invites multifaceted interpretations beyond the stated frustration. While the official narrative points to genuine disappointment over stalled negotiations, several strategic and even conspiratorial angles can be considered. Strategic maneuvers, pressure tactic. The shortened deadline could be a deliberate strategy to intensify pressure on Moscow, forcing a quicker decision or a more favorable negotiating stance. It might be a high-stakes bluff, testing the Kremlin's resolve and willingness to concede. Domestic political play. For a figure like Trump, known for his decisive and often unpredictable style, this move could also serve domestic political purposes. It projects an image of strong leadership and a commitment to resolving international crises, potentially bolstering his standing among his base or influencing future political ambitions. It positions him as a proactive player on the global stage, distinct from current administration approaches. Leveraging influence. By setting and then shortening a public deadline, Trump might be attempting to reassert his influence in global affairs, even outside of formal office. This could be an effort to position himself as a key mediator or a necessary figure for future peace processes. Conspiracy theory perspectives, excluding Vietnamese contexts. Prearranged script. One speculative theory posits that this public ultimatum and its subsequent revision might be part of a larger, prearranged script. In this view, the public display of frustration and deadlines could be a theatrical element designed to manipulate public perception, or to provide cover for behind-the-scenes agreements or strategic shifts. The conflict, from this perspective, might be orchestrated to achieve specific geopolitical outcomes, such as realigning power blocks, controlling vital resources like energy or rare earth minerals, or facilitating the sale of particular defense technologies. Deep state influence or hidden agendas. Another angle suggests that powerful, unseen forces, often referred to as the deep state or a globalist elite, might be influencing the timeline. Trump, in this scenario, could be either a willing participant or an unwitting pawn in a larger game designed to prolong or escalate the conflict for specific economic or strategic gains. This could involve generating profits for the military-industrial complex, disrupting global supply chains for economic advantage, or weakening specific nations to prevent the rise of rival powers. Distraction tactic. The sudden, dramatic announcement could also serve as a distraction from other, less desirable news or ongoing investigations, drawing media attention to a high-profile international issue. This is a common tactic attributed to political figures seeking to control the narrative. Testing boundaries. Some might argue that the ultimatum is a test of international resolve and a probe into the red lines of various global actors. By pushing the boundaries, certain factions might be attempting to gauge reactions and identify weaknesses in the current international order, paving the way for future strategic moves. Putin's silence. Russia's lack of immediate comment is also open to interpretation. It could signify a dismissive stance, viewing Trump's statements as irrelevant given his current unofficial status. Alternatively, it could be a strategic silence, allowing Moscow to assess the implications of the new deadline and formulate a calculated response. From a conspiratorial viewpoint, Putin's silence might indicate an awareness of a larger, unspoken agreement or a counter-strategy that is not yet ready for public disclosure, suggesting a deeper level of coordination or a more complex game at play. Ultimately, the true motivations behind President Trump's revised ultimatum remain a subject of intense speculation. Whether a genuine expression of frustration, a calculated strategic maneuver, or an element of a more elaborate hidden agenda, the shortened deadline undoubtedly adds another layer of complexity and urgency to the already volatile Ukraine conflict, keeping the world on edge as the clock ticks down to what could be a pivotal moment in international relations.